Welcome to this episode of Women Who Rebrand, where we'll be discussing the essential qualities of a successful entrepreneur, the benefits of strong online presence, and how to create a successful social media campaign. Today, I have the incredible Dee Safire, who's taking a break from her awesome true crime podcast, Switchblade Sisters Social Club, to join us. We're also lucky to be joined by the fabulous Vanessa Carlos, a business owner and entrepreneur who is passionate about helping female-founded brands. With her knowledge and expertise, Vanessa will be sharing the benefits of a strong online presence, the most common mistakes she sees, why Dee thinks Meta is so freaking awkward and shit, tips for Facebook ads, and advice for those contemplating pursuing their entrepreneurial dreams, leaving the safety of the corporate world, and so much more. It's going to be an amazing conversation. Let's get into it. Vanessa, Dee, welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. Vanessa, you are just a marketing whiz, setting up everything and being an entrepreneur and all that stuff. So I'm excited about talking to you and possibly learning some tips. Yay!
Yeah, I'm full of tips today. I'm full of them.
Yes, love it.
Please.
Dee, you've got the questions.
I have got the question. Sorry, I was just really excited about the tips. So, your background was in retail, and I was just wondering what prompted you to leave the retail industry and retrain in social media marketing?
I know, it sounds so bonkers, doesn't it? It was such a long time ago. It was literally, right, so I'm going to take you back like 9 years nearly.
Okay.
So this was like before everybody was like being a small business owner, and everybody was kind of on Insta, but like not quite. And I was in my retail job, and yeah, it was like a glamorous retail job. I worked for Jimmy Choo, so I was always in heels.
Nice.
I was always in heels, but you know what? I'd been there 13 years. I was running things. Everything was smooth. But I had 2 kids. I had one at school. I had one tiny little tot. And I was full-time. And I was commuting maybe 2 hours.
Wow.
You know, when you live in London, I don't live in Knightsbridge, right? I don't live in Knightsbridge.
I mean, that is the dream.
I don't think anyone lives in Knightsbridge anymore, but anyway, that's for another podcast. And so I remember being really, really sneaky one day and going downstairs to my office and thinking, right, I'm going to have to change something here because I'm commuting 2 hours a day. I don't see my kids. The grandparents see their kids, you know, the grandparents see them, but I don't see them. And so I actually Googled working from home jobs.
Oh, wow.
I just Googled it.
Yeah.
And there was nothing really. There was like, be an Avon lady, you know, like do like, I don't know, tiny little jobs. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being an Avon lady, obviously.
No.
But I was just like, oh my God. Anyway, right at the bottom of the Google check through, I see this little ad. It was tiny. It was like this tiny little thing. And it said, retrain as a social media manager. And it was for, I don't know whether you've heard of them, digital mums. They're no longer.
Oh, I have.
Yes.
Yeah.
They no longer exist. It was
going back to that 9 years ago. Well, like you said, when everyone was kind of, there's a lot of mums going onto Instagram to do the same kind of thing. How can we make money working from home? So carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And it was tiny. It was the smallest thing. And I was like, okay, let's click on this. And I sent off like a little kind of find out more box and then didn't hear any more about it. And then they got in contact with me maybe like a couple of days later, and they were like, look, I don't think we're ready to like fully go ahead with all of this. You know, they were so tiny, so small. And I was like, no, now I really, really want to do this. And I was literally jumping at the bit going, no, this is it. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to retrain and I'm just going to change everything because I can't do this anymore. And And I waited maybe 3 months, 4 months, and I was literally chomping at the bit to join this course.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think it was on purpose? Because I have heard that's a marketing thing. I heard from my husband the other day. He actually mentioned it. It's like when businesses or someone turn you down, it's like creating that element of, well, if I can't have it, I must have it, therefore I want it. I'm not saying that, you know, digital mums did that, but there is an element of like wanting something more that you think you can't have.
Yeah, I know. I do it all the time.
Yeah, same.
Oh, and not liking someone telling you no.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like I tell people that they're not ready for ads. And it's the truth.
Yeah.
And then they go get themselves ready because they're like, right, I'm actually going to do this now. Right? I'm actually going to do this. And
that's actually really good though. Because I would be the same. I'd be like, you're telling me I'm not ready. I'm going to show you I'm ready. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Even if we don't mean to do it on purpose, but yeah, that is motivation.
I don't know. It was a trick or they really weren't organised. I've got a feeling back in the day, they probably weren't even thinking about that and they were totally not organised. But then when they were, I was on it and it was 6 months training and then that was it. I got my first job when I was just about to graduate from the course.
Wow.
So that was it. I was off.
And how did you feel about working as a marketing manager? Like, was it actually good money back then?
Yes, it was good money. It was great money. But I was off.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome?
Massively. Massively.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a great experience with my first job either. So, yeah, unfortunately, it was a huge brand. Let's just say they were a famous clear braces brand.
Okay.
Oh, I think I know who it is.
Anymore.
But I'm not going to say.
And it was back in the day when, if you were on Instagram, it was all on the phone with the fingers, right? There was no scheduling involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was none of that stuff involved. And I have always been a pretty bad speller. Typos are my friend and my not so great friend.
Frenemy?
And I think it was probably just, frenemy. There you go. And I think it was probably just one typo too many, even though I was bringing in loads of new people and loads of engagement and loads of stuff. Yeah, they were just like, sorry.
Can I tell you a
story?
Sorry,
we can't have typos. Yeah, go on, sweet. Make me feel better.
I'm going to make you feel better. So again, going back to social media and stuff, I also was a social media manager, but I didn't do the course. I think for me, because I'd always kind of marketed my own endeavors online, I kind of just fell into that and people asked me to do it and then people kind of approached me. But my big first client, I'm not going to name her, but she was on. So I was like, right, I'm going to make this hot because, her socials are kind of failing. So I know what to do. I'm going to do it. So I was just like regurgitating content because, again, that's quite difficult when a client doesn't give you content and they want you to be a social media manager. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do with these pictures from 10 years ago when you've already posted them 14 times? So there was a picture that she
had. And you don't even look like that anymore either, right?
Okay, please don't get me started on that too. She had these pictures and it had a celebrity in there. And this celebrity looked very similar to their celebrity parent. I'm not going to say who it is. But me not actually realising, ADHD brain, not really thinking. Yeah. I put what a great day it was to meet this celebrity, but I actually put the celebrity mum's name. But even worse, that celebrity mum was dead. So obviously her audience had a lot of laughs about that, but I noticed it pretty quickly, so I edited it straight away and then got rid of those. But yeah, there was loads of things, but it's difficult when you haven't got that closeness with a client, and social media and your brain sometimes just don't mix. But
well, we're all human, aren't we?
Some experience. Exactly, but I'm hoping that story made you feel better. At least you didn't name someone that was dead. To
I
lot
would
of
say
followers,
though,
because they were on TV every week.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to think of celebrities, mother-daughter celebrities that look alike.
Yeah, like my brain's working overtime. But honestly, on a more serious note, I think that probably screwed up my self-confidence for a good 2 years afterwards.
Oh, wow. 2 years?
Yeah. I'd say so. I'd say so. And I started taking on very small clients.
Right.
And very small jobs, and keeping myself small and keeping my marketing small. Because we'll get onto that later. It's not just working for your clients, you've also got to work for yourself, and you've got to promote yourself constantly, which is like, and it just took a lot of kind of going into myself and working on my self-belief to get myself back on track, I think.
So imposter syndrome is the plague, the scourge of women. It affects about 78% of females. And actually, the more you achieve and the further you get in whatever career path or life ambitions you choose, the more you're plagued by it. You would have thought, logic would tell you, the better you do in whatever you're doing, the more you'll be like, oh, actually, I can do this I got this. But no, the further you get, the more you're like, oh, what am I doing? Someone's going to find me out. Someone's going to realize I'm just pretending at adulting. I'm pretending at social mediaing, Yeah. So it's just so unfortunate. And I think also working for yourself is really tough because you don't have that support network in the same way as having like colleagues, a boss, a team, right? You're kind of just sitting in a void a lot of the time, listening to those evil voices. And I always remember this interview with Arianna Huffington, who I absolutely love, although I think she's into weird cults now. But anyways, Huffington Post.
It's always something, isn't it?
Don't at me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's true. But yeah, she said she named her imposter syndrome her obnoxious roommate. And so that can be a helpful tool is to name it. It could be Tina or whatever, but then to identify that Tina. Oh, what's your name?
I have a name. He's a really loud Greek man called Stavros.
But that's
and he
perfect.
Shouts at me.
Because when it's Stavros, then you could be like, Stavros, shut the fuck up. Oh, there's Stavros again.
He's really loud. He's got like a really booming voice, and he gets in my jeans and he makes them too big.
Oh, I think Stavros makes my jeans too small.
I was going to say, there was a perfect TikTok filter for Stavros. I think it was last year. I think it was last year. It was like you had the camera, but there was like a Greek man like hovering over your shoulder. So if I find that, I will send it to you because that would be perfect. That's Stavros. Yes. Oh. So when did you actually, okay, so you scaled it down a bit, and perhaps maybe you did that to obviously build your self-confidence, learn with along the way with smaller brands, because it's difficult. If you've just like done the course and it's like, big brand, perhaps you weren't ready, because, it does take time. And I think with social media management especially, it's all about experience. I don't think you can just say, I'm a qualified social media manager just because I've done a course. It's like you need to learn the ins and outs of the platforms. You need to learn the ins and outs of what works for particular size
the constantly changing platforms.
That's what I was going to say.
Right.
Constantly, right?
We're going to get on to Meta because I have questions.
Mainly, no, don't even get started.
Why? How? Honestly,
we're getting there. So in terms of your business, what type of clients were you working with at that moment? So smaller ones.
Yeah, they were much smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of drifted into coaches. And I've kind of been focusing on coaches for, I'd say, a good 7 years now.
Wow.
So I've kind of built up that experience of working with them as a social media manager and now as an ad manager as well. But my big focus, I think, and it was literally through trial and error.
Yeah.
I really love working with women.
Okay.
I really, really do. I find working with men, it always just brings about some kind of issue. I don't know what it is.
Ego?
There's always, yes.
I don't want to be.
It is ego, right?
But ego, perhaps. Yeah.
They always seem to know that they can do it better, even though they've got you in to be the expert. They're
it's
always
a really tough dynamic
and
to
you're
work
like,
around, isn't it? Really tough.
What's the point of me being here? Do you just want to just do this? So I don't know. I mean, I could work with a guy at some point and he might not be like that at all. But
yeah.
Oh, we're making sweeping generalizations here. Yeah.
Oh, massive generalizations. But in my experience, and maybe it's because I've been with like the kind of bro CEO types. There's always been like a little bit of like, no, I can do this actually.
There's a lot of toxic masculinity still in the workplace, and it's not serving women and it's definitely not serving men. Well, we talked a bit about it because I think we've all experienced it, the imposter syndrome, the difficult clients and so forth. But what do you think holds women back from setting up their own businesses? What do you think specifically are the obstacles to females?
It's fear. It's definitely fear. It's fear that they can't do it. Sometimes it's people in their family or the people closest to them that are also subliminally telling them they can't do it, I think, as well. I didn't have it personally, but I've seen it with other females that I know that run their own businesses. That they've had that on their back as well. I think when you get knockbacks, you've got to be really, really comfortable with failure. Really, really comfortable with it. And being able to get yourself back on track quickly.
When you're picking an avenue, like I'm very close with my parents, I have an Arab dad. So telling my Arab dad, oh, I'm doing podcasting. So not only am I working for myself, which he's okay with, but in an area that like didn't even exist. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't even really fully understand what I'm doing. And I think that can be the difficulty as well with a lot of, stuff that people are doing when they're working for themselves, like social media management, another career that wasn't around in our parents' time. So it can be hard to, we have a lot of pressure about expectations of our, family and our culture and our dependents and so forth. So if you're also picking something that's risky and unknown and confusing to your father, it can be a lot, right? You have to be very confident of your stand and your choices, I think.
Yeah. I think you've really got to be confident and actually be really clear in the job that you do and just say, look, this is exactly what it is, and explain it to them. Even if they don't understand, if you're really, really clear with it and you say to them, look, this is exactly what I do and this is exactly how I do it and this is how I'm going to make this money, eventually they're going to be like, okay, she's surviving. That's okay. Her kids are being fed. That's okay.
Yeah. In terms of like business though, like, okay, you're an entrepreneur. And for me, I've changed directions so many times. But my problem is, or was in the past, I'm getting more organized, my business ventures didn't really have an end goal. It was just like, well, I fancy doing that. That's going to be a bit of fun. If I make some money on the way, that's cool. That's a bonus. But what do you do about those unrealistic business ideas? Or if you like, even if determining whether it's a good business idea, how do you think about that?
I think with everything, you just need to test it. You
so
got to test your
anyway.
market. Yeah, go for it, but make sure it's what your customer or your client actually wants first. I think there's so many people that are just going out there with this idea that they think is amazing, but then they haven't actually asked anybody if it's amazing.
Ooh, who do you ask though?
Your people, your ideal customer, the people on your Instagram that follow you and love you. You ask them. You ask them. You say, look, would you buy this? Is this something you'd be interested in? And you're talking to them about it maybe like 2 months before you launch. Like in your socials and on podcasts and to the mums in the school gates, you know, you just ask everybody. You just say, would you buy this? Would you pay for this? Does this sound good to you? Would this be something that's useful to you?
So
and then you launch it. Yeah, absolutely. You need that. You need that. You can't just go out and just say, yeah, I have this amazing idea. And then everybody turns to you and goes, yeah, and so what?
Yeah.
So that,
how many times does that happen, right?
I mean, quite a few. But then I think for me, it's like, well, I did that. Okay, let's talk about the soap business. So yeah, that's actually Dee's fault that I started that. Dee was making soap. And I was like, that looks like so much fun, something creative. I'm going to do it. Took it a bit too far with the obsessiveness, so the ADHD. So I learned how to do it, spent hours, did no market research. I'm going to be completely honest. But I think because I did have that kind of negative feedback from friends and stuff, it's like, well, you're not going to make any money out of it. And it's like, well, how many soap businesses out there? So I was like, right, I'm going to prove you wrong. So I did up it and I did like the marketing. I made a whole cool video, took my elements of fashion into there, and I got it into like shops and in magazines and it did work. But yeah, in the long run, it wasn't quite making the money that I wanted to make. I would either have to, I was in that kind of middle mark where it was making a lot of money for a small soap business, but the way I'd marketed it, it had to be the next level and actually have like a production company, which I didn't have the funds for. And then there was loads of law changes in terms of cosmetics, so it just made it even more expensive. So I had to stop. But yeah, it's like, if I'm glad I did it, but in hindsight, it's just having that clear business plan and working, I guess, to the scale that it needs to be at. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think so. It's just, I think if you know you've got something that is absolutely vital for people, or something that like people will just love, and you know your customer inside out as well, like you know everything about them, you know what they do on the weekend, you know how many kids they've got, you know the kind of TV they like to watch, even if they watch TV, you know whether they have pets, you know everything about them. I think that's what I learned from 13 years at Jimmy Choo. I had a little black book and I knew everything about my clients. I called them on their birthdays. I knew what their kids were up to. I knew everything about them. And I think if you can be a CEO that has a little black book of your clients and the people who love you, and you know everything about them, you know them inside out, you know all the important stuff that goes on in their lives, you're going that extra mile with them, and you know exactly what they want.
I guess that's one of the benefits of having a strong online presence, because you have those opportunities for that market research and learning more about the trends in your audience base and so forth. Are there any other benefits to having a strong online presence? I mean, we all know it's good for the ego, but why else should we be, regardless of what our service or product is, why else should we be ensuring that we are on social media?
So there's this thing that's been said quite a lot, and it's people need to see you 7 times before they'll take an action. You or your product, they need to see it in front of their face 7 times before they take an action. So that means that you need to be constantly talking about what you want to sell over and over and over again. Don't expect to just say, yeah, I've got this amazing thing, do one Instagram post and then expect everybody to come flooding, because it's not going to happen. Half of your people won't even see you because of the algorithm or whatever. You've got ads going on in the background, but you need to be going out there with everything. So it's got to be ads, socials, emails, press. The whole thing works all in conjunction with each other and creates this thing that you're able to sell. I know it's massive. I know it's loads. Yeah. But if you have it all running at the same time, then they're going to see you 7 times, aren't they? And they go, oh, yeah, I remember. Maybe I need to make this purchase. I mean, in between, I don't know, the doorbell ringing and the dog barking and the Amazon sales and like, I don't know what's going on Netflix. And it's just so much that you can't expect people to just immediately click and go.
I'm totally misremembering this quote, but I remember reading somewhere that websites are for trust, emails are for sales, and social media is for awareness. Which I thought was quite an interesting way of putting it.
I'd say so. I'd say your social media is your shop window. So that's where people go and have a look. They go to browse. They go and see whether you're nice, whether you have the same beliefs, whether you're interested in the same stuff, whether they can trust you, because that's a massive thing. People are really going to have to part with their money now and think about parting with their money now. So you've got to be even more trustworthy than you were before, I think.
Yeah.
Especially with things like the coaching industry, especially with things like my industry, where you're literally giving me some money and telling me to go, it's like a big ask.
Yeah.
So you've got to be super trustworthy, and that's your shop windows. So that's where you're saying, yeah, I'm super nice and I like this kind of stuff, and I'm working on this today, and these are the results that I've got, and you just keep going and you keep going and you keep going, and then eventually.
Well, you raised an interesting point, and we had a conversation before we pressed record about how you're Virgo and you like being organized, and I'm an Aries, so I am similar vibe. Looking at the numbers is really important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looking at your metrics, looking at the analytics, so important. And I don't think a lot of people forget that step. But how do you know that it's the only way to find out really if what you're doing is working, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So like say in your stories and you've mentioned something about your new product or service and you've put your little link in there. I'm talking about Instagram again, because this is my happy place. Go in and check your insights and see how many link clicks you've got. Like say you've got like 10 link clicks on this, you know that this is something that people are interested in. That's going to give you an indication about, okay, that sounds like that was something that people were excited about. They could join a wait list for something. And you've got your captive audience there. They're ready to go. They're your hot people. They're the people that would probably buy anything from you because they love you.
At wwrdigital.com, you'll find the Women Who Rebrand podcast and bonus content to accompany each episode. Plus, between episodes and season breaks, you'll get access to informative articles and personal stories about health and wellness, relationships, and careers. Take a journey with us to become your most authentic self because you matter. Join our online community on Instagram and TikTok at WWR Digital. For a lot of businesses and small businesses and entrepreneurs, if you don't understand social media and where it's going and the changes, you may just get a bit obsessed about not engagement in numbers, so the numbers of followers. And I think a lot of people have just really, really tried, I'm going to get those followers, going to get those followers, going to get the 100,000. But then that doesn't necessarily equate to sales or even good engagement. And there's something that my husband said recently in terms of the changes in literacy and books, because there was a recent thing where I think I can't remember the name of it, and I should have written it down, but I didn't know I was going to mention it here. There was a person that had a massive following and they got a book deal, obviously got a ton of money for that, but they only sold 11 books. 11 books. Literally published. Yeah. So there was a big investigation in terms of, where are these publishers, what are these publishers doing to market these authors and their books after giving them that money? Because it just seems like a waste. So in terms of marketing and being online, getting those followers doesn't necessarily mean or equate to sales, right?
No, of course not. Just because they're following you, it doesn't mean they're real. A lot of the time.
Too, and I can totally tell when it's not real. It's so obvious, but go on.
There was that thing back in the day, wasn't there? I think it was Paul Hollywood who'd got found out for buying all his Twitter followers.
It's so obvious. People really need to stop it. It's so 2001. But yeah, sorry. Go.
But those are the glamour numbers, aren't they? They're the ones that don't really matter because they don't mean anything in terms of generating. They're just for show, right?
You have to think as well, when you buy your followers, they are probably 80% bots and they're not really going to be interested in anything about you. And it's just like a vanity metric to show your publisher, oh, look at all these people that are following me, but they're not actually interested in you at all.
So it can actually be quite detrimental in the end.
Yeah.
When you sell your 11 books. Yeah.
You could have 100 followers who all love you. And I think that is 10 times better than having 10k followers and 80% of them have got no real interest. They've just followed you for the hell of it because they see you've got loads of followers and they go, oh, okay, she might be interesting, let's just click, but then they never see you again. I mean, I have plenty of people on my Instagram feed like that I probably clicked. And then when I go into my insights, they show you, don't they? They say, these are the people you least interact with. And they're usually the people with the blue ticks. Honestly, they really are. Because you're like, why would I even bother trying to speak to this person? But they're not going to answer me because they've probably got someone else doing their Instagram for them or their TikTok for them.
And they probably get thousands of messages.
Exactly. Yeah. Thousands of DMs, thousands of messages. Why are they going to speak to me? So I'm not going to bother to interact with them. Whereas someone that you speak to all the time, you're going to see them in your feed more and you're going to talk and buy from them. Most of the people I buy from are generally people that I've had a long chat with, offline as well. And we're all kind of in the same little group of lovely people, that we follow and we speak to constantly.
It's not just making posts and reels and stories and so forth. You've got to be on there engaging as well, don't you? Commenting on other people's posts and answering comments and messages.
Yeah. one of the worst things I think I see with people that I've worked for is that they don't go on their own social. They think they can hand it all over to me and then disappear and then not go in and speak to the people that could potentially be buying from them. They just don't do it. They just give me all their ancient images, Sareta.
Please.
Right?
Oh, so annoying.
Oh, that, yeah, and then disappear, and then what's the point of that? It's not going to grow because
That's
they
me.
want to.
That's what
because
I do.
they want to speak to you. They want to speak to you.
Yeah.
They want to speak to you, and yeah, it takes time and effort, but it's worth it. I really do think it's worth it.
What would you say is the most important thing to consider when creating a successful social media campaign then?
Have all your ducks in place. So know who you're speaking to. Again, know it's something that people actually want. Then have everything together. So have your social media planned out. Have your emails planned out. Have your ads ready to go. Have your PR maybe.
Yeah.
And then know your product inside out and know who you're talking to inside out. Some of the best ads I've run for coaches, I'd say, is the coach doing a selfie video and selling their product and talking to that one person that they love and selling it. And that's all they need to do. It literally takes 5 minutes to get it together. And those are pretty much always the best performing ads.
That's so interesting.
I would love to talk about ads. Ads are the thing that really do scare me. I've done social media for years. I just haven't really. I think, do you know what? In terms of business, there's just so much to do. And what you were saying in terms of, the most important things to do, I'm completely hands up disorganized. The way I work is just, I like that, I'm going to do that, and let me do it day by day. But everything that I'm doing is so much more. And then on top of that, there's all those other things to do. So how do you even find time? And I guess in
just
that
get
sense,
some help.
You would
just
have to get some help. Yeah.
I had to learn. It took me flipping years to ask for help. I was like, oh yeah, I can do this all myself. I know exactly what I'm doing. This is fine. I can do this, and this, and this. You can't. You can't. And you'll drive yourself mad doing everything yourself and exhausted, and the pressure will get to you, and it's not your thing.
Like Sareta says, you have your area of genius, which is probably your product or your service. You might have some other elements of running a business that you enjoy doing, but not everyone's going to love doing the service or product as well as the social media, as well as the accounts, as well as the PR, blah, blah, blah. And outsourcing is key, isn't
God
it?
bless my accountant. God bless my accountant.
Jenna, I'm blowing you kisses. I love you. Can you imagine? There's some people that themselves still. Feeling like, I'm not earning enough to get an accountant. And
so
you're not earning enough because you're spending weeks doing your accounts. Get someone on board.
I write the theme tune, I sing the theme tune, I am the theme tune.
Sareta, stop it now.
I know. So
honestly,
whenever moving forward, delegation. Get people. Is that where if you're running a business and you had the funds, would you put that funds into marketing? Is that where it would go?
If you've got a product that you've maybe sold before that works, or you've done all your market research and everybody's up for it, that's the time that you think, right, I could scale this to people like my people, because Meta does this lovely thing called lookalikes, where it will target your ads out to people that are like your audience. that have the same interests as your audience and do the same kind of shopping stuff as your audience.
Creepy, but good, I suppose.
Yeah, it's very creepy. It's very, very creepy. But it's got less creepy because Apple, in their high godlike status, had just said, right, everybody's going to have privacy with their ads now, and you can click and you can tick and you can say, I don't want to be sent these ads anymore, which has screwed Meta up good and proper. But strangely enough, I heard on the grapevine, Apple are going to be doing their own kind of ads very, very soon. So their own kind of ad management.
Oh, and I bet you won't be able to opt out of those.
Who knows? Who knows? So my phone. Yeah. So they're going to be doing their own thing. So strangely enough, they put all these things in place. All these kind of, we love you, we care for you, we don't want to show you ads that you don't want to see, because they're going to run their own stuff. They're going to do their own stuff.
Do you know what that reminds me of? I don't know if either of you have iPhones, but a few years ago, what group was it? It was a band.
U2.
U2. Do you remember?
Oh my God, no one wanted that bloody album.
I didn't know. I read it online. Everyone with an iPhone's got the album. I'm like, what are you on about? Go to my iTunes. I'm like, how very dare you fill my phone with something I didn't ask for? Okay,
when
Beyonce
marketing goes wrong.
Right. Because number one, I didn't ask for it. Number two, you're taking up storage. Number three, I don't even like this music. I've never even, like iTunes. Would you connect me with U2? No, absolutely not. So when marketing goes wrong.
So there you go. That's like the entrepreneur saying, you want my stuff, you need my stuff, I'm just going to give it to you. Even though you don't bloody want it. I'm just going to give it to you anyway. And you're just like, no, actually, I don't want it.
Yeah.
But I have the power, so I'm just going to shove it in there.
You're like, in terms of relating that to clients that you have, what's kind of the equivalent of that you would see? Like, what are the biggest mistakes that you've seen that people have made?
So that's coming out with a big campaign and then throwing a whole load of money behind it. And nobody wants it. And them just getting super disappointed.
Right.
And usually it's because they followed some guru that's told them that this is what you do and these are the steps to do it. It can work, but about, 70% of the time it doesn't, because they're not testing. They're just saying, oh, this is how it's done and I'm going to do it this way. But you've got no clue. At the beginning, when you start running ads, you probably don't make any money in the first month. And you get scared. And you're like, oh my God, I've just spent 400 quid and nothing's happened. It's because it's like the test period. So you've got to have a whole pile of creative that you're going to test. One after another, a whole pile of copy that you're going to test one after another. Loads of different audiences with loads of different interests, but make those interests really, really broad, because the broader interest you have with Facebook, the better. And let them target the people that they think you want. And just test one thing after another, be really, really kind of strict and regimented about it, which would probably hurt you deeply, Sareta, I'm sure, when you're just like, just chuck everything at the wall. But just kind of be super, super regimented about it and just check those insights and see, oh, right, well, that one's worked better than that one. And they like this copy and this landing page and this kind of sales page and how I'm talking here better than this one. And this one's working better. And then the one that's working better, put some more money behind it and you'll start getting really, really well-performing ads.
So it's trial and error.
Test. And that's the scariest bit, because it's literally like a white knuckle ride. Oh my God, I'm spending all this money. But you're getting all this data and you're getting all these ideas and you can start to see a clear pathway. And that's where I come in, because I'm saying, right, well, this is working better than this, and this is working better than this, and we need to put some more money behind this because this is working. And
I've just realised I've been doing Facebook ads all wrong, and I need a Vanessa in my life. So expect that phone call.
Oh my goodness. It's a white knuckle ride, but when it works, when it starts to work, it's like, oh, this is great. This is so cool.
Well, I think one of the problems is when you work for yourself and when you're kind of, like we said, sitting in your void, the minute something's not working, the easiest thing to do is just panic, cry, drink a lot of wine, then change it immediately, and
don't stop. And
not carry on through.
Don't turn them off. Don't turn them off. That's the worst thing you can do.
So tweak it rather than stop it, is what you're saying.
Tweak it rather than stop it, because you'll suddenly find that what you thought was the worst performing ad was the one you've switched off, and then all of a sudden you're looking at it and you're like, oh, I just got 60 leads from this. Why the hell did I turn it off? Now I'm going to have to start from the beginning. So just hold your nerve.
Why is Meta so freaking awkward and because it feels like every time I get the hang of it, which is never, they suddenly change everything again. And do you have any tips for using the sort of business suite side of things and the Facebook ads and so forth?
Hold your nerve. Just have like a gin before you go in, because after like bloody 9 years of working in it, it still pisses me off on the daily.
It's not just us.
Business manager. It's not. Yeah. It still pisses me off on the daily. It's the least user friendly experience. They are getting better. It is getting better.
I'll take
the
your word
stuff
for
that
it.
they brought out recently is actually starting to work really nicely. I'm finding it. Last year was a bit of a show.
I guess that's when they were trialing and erroring, right?
Well, yeah, it was a bit of a show, but it is getting a little bit better. Just get someone who knows what they're doing and can talk you through it. And there's a lot of setup at the beginning to get everything right. You have to make sure that your domain has been verified. You have to make sure that you're A-OK with all. I know, exactly, right? I can see your face. You're just like, oh, just shut the fuck up already, right? But it's
my anger is purely directed at Meta.
Bits and pieces. Oh, I know, but it's like all these little bits and pieces that you need. Also, just try not to get yourself like put into Facebook prison if you can help it.
How do you get
in terms
Facebook
of your
prison?
ads?
Being Palestinian and commenting on that?
Yeah. Oh. Well, no, in ads, right?
You
can say what the hell you want on social media, but as soon as you put money behind it, there's lots and lots of restrictions. So just make sure that you've read through everything before you publish your ads. Make sure that you're not showing too much skin.
That was my problem.
I had a coach that was obsessed with wearing her bikini. I told her over and over and over again. She wouldn't listen. She's one of these Bali coaches, living on an island. This is my lifestyle, and I was just like, it's not going to work. You're going to end up in jail. You're going to end up in jail. Can you just
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I ended up in
Facebook don't want to see it.
Because I was advertising for one of the charities I work for, a conference that we had, and they put us in prison for supposedly sort of advocating politically. I mean, it was on politics.
So ads can't be any type of political essence or showing
especially
skin.
especially not after what they went through with the whole kind of thing that they were doing with the Trump campaign and all that kind of stuff. And that they're super sensitive about any of that kind of stuff now. I think when you word your ad copy as well, just make sure you're not telling people what they are.
Right.
You're not saying this is what you are and this is why you need this. You have to almost like put it, you have to speak about it like, this worked for me, so it could work for you, but it could work for you. Like, don't make any massive wild claims. As soon as you start talking about money and all that kind of stuff, that just brings up red lights immediately. So do your research first, and just try not to end up in jail. If you do end up in jail, there are ways and means around it. It's usually not the end of the world, completely. It's a bit of a mare trying to get onto Facebook chat, right? Trying to speak to anybody at Meta is a bit of a nightmare. That is getting a bit better now.
Okay.
Apparently, we're all going to be getting our own special person that we can go to once we get into,
Really?
That's going to be a chatbot, isn't it?
Wow.
It's going to be a chatbot, but you will be able to talk to them immediately rather than going through all these kind of, I don't know, it's like a rabbit warren half the time, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's going to be popping up soon too. So yeah, things are getting better. But please, before you go ahead with a big campaign, just read through everything. If you need some help, even if you just want someone to hold your hand through it, you can do it that way rather than have someone go in and do it all for you. And just make sure that you're not throwing money down the drain needlessly, because there's so many people that do that and they just get put off and they're just like, oh, it just doesn't work for me and that's it. I'm not going to do it anymore, and then, don't boost either.
Don't boost. So would you mean boosting individual posts?
Yeah. So, you get that little boost button.
Constantly.
Right. Constantly. Yeah.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Good. The only way that a boost would work for you is if you wanted more engagement on that post.
Right.
Oh.
So that's all it's going to do. It's not going to bring you any sales. It's not going to bring you anything in the bank. It's not going to make you money, a boosted post. It's just going to give you more engagement. It's going to share it out to your entire audience, probably. And that'll be pretty much it. And then they'll do what they want with it, but they won't necessarily take the action that you want. So you could have it in your strategy. So you could say, right, I'm going to boost this post. I'm going to get more engagement on it. That's more social proof, isn't it? Which is great for an ad. Because ads with lots of social proof, so lots of people saying, oh, this sounds cool, this sounds great, love to talk about this, and then there's loads of people talking about it. You can then turn that into an ad if you've changed your copy ever so slightly, taken out your hashtags, you're ready to go. That's the only way I'd say a boost would work. So have it in your strategy, but don't just go ahead and go, oh yeah, let me put a tenner behind this and see what happens. It's not going to work.
Okay.
Just don't waste your money.
I have to confess that, I'm not good on social media. Sareta's fucking awesome.
Okay.
She does it as a job and so forth. She is amazing. I'm lucky. My sister's a social media manager as well. And so she does all of our socials for our podcast and everything. But I have to say that as someone who does my own thing work-wise and a bunch of different projects and so forth, handing over my social media, the majority of it, to someone else and allowing me to focus on what I actually enjoy doing, what actually makes me money, and what I'm good at, it has been life-changing, and I'm not exaggerating there. So if you are one of these people who's working for themselves and this whole conversation has overwhelmed you, which it totally would have for me if I didn't have my sister doing my social media, then just get someone, right? Because
get someone.
Like with the accountant, if you're spending so many hours struggling to do something ineffectively because you're not an expert on it, and it's taking you away from doing the thing that actually makes you money, you're not going to make money, right? And your stress level will be very, very high as well. So I don't know, that's just my little PSA. Get a social media manager if this conversation overwhelms you.
Get a social media manager, but make sure you go in every once in a while and have a chat with a few people.
But see, I'm happy to
be
do that
involved.
now.
Be involved.
But for me, that's fun now because I have someone doing all of the boring, the scheduling, all the stuff. I like looking at the numbers, but someone who does all of the bulk of the work, I just get to go in there and like chat to some people sometimes. That's fun because it's no pressure. So it's just do it is my advice.
No, I know. Just do it. Just ask for help and ask for help from people that know what they're doing as well. So you know at least you've got someone that can just get on with it. But also, I think it needs to be a collaborative experience with your social media. You can't just hand it over to someone and have like the Sareta experience where you've got like ancient old pictures from like 1997 or something. You've got to be involved as well in some way. Even if you just go on occasionally and do a video or a live or something and just be that person, because otherwise it shows and it's like a static kind of death zone that everybody's just like, this lady's not on it. She's got a social media manager. I think it's so easy to tell sometimes with some accounts that have a social media manager on them and do start to look a bit boring, and it's because the person isn't on there as well. So just nip in there every once in a while and like give them what they want, which is you.
What
really?
Advice would you give to, because again, with the influx of reels and everything like that, I think that's shown or kind of given people the push, people want to see you, but not everyone wants to be seen. And if you've got a brand, I know for me, I've heard it loads of times and I'm with you, and it's like people want to see you. But what advice would you give to someone that like one doesn't want to be seen, knows they have to be seen, is awkward in front of the camera?
So awkward,
what advice would you give them?
How about your voice?
Okay,
how about just like speaking something into your phone, handing it over to your social media manager, and then she can make some sexy video over the top of it with your voice, where you're just talking about something. If you're a maker and you're like super shy about showing your face, just like stick your phone on a tripod and draw and do your thing, do your making. They can just see your hands. You could maybe talk about it. It's lovely. Okay. You're already like getting to know that person by their voice. I mean, podcasting, I know we're all on screen now, but podcasting was brilliant for that, where it was just your voice and we were all sat in our pajamas, right? But it's like...
today it's party on top.
I know.
Cycling shorts on the bottom, but you only see this top up, so it's fine.
Blanky, yeah, exactly. Right.
Okay, so in terms of people that have listened to this episode and they're like, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, I'm gonna start my own business, but they are in that corporate world, or they're in a corporate job, or they might not even have the funds to start something and to get that help. What would you say to those people that are kind of like in doubt?
Start something small first on the side. Test. Talk to everybody, and then just kind of there'll be a point where you're like, this. I'm just going to just do it. I'm just going to throw myself in. I'm just going to do this whole thing now. But yeah, start little steps first, little steps, test the water. If you've got something in your head that's like aching to come out, then start talking to people about it. Even if it's on your personal TikTok, and you just start to talk to people about this thing that's in your head. You're just going to get it out. Just get it out of your head, and see whether people like it.
And start building an idea of your target audience, your ideal client. Speaking of naming our imposter syndrome, one of the other things I read about was naming your ideal client. Like, her name is Deborah, and she has a dog, and she watches true crime documentaries and listens to podcasts while she's commuting to work, and her job is in retail, and blah, blah, blah. So, starting to learn about that person, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Get to know them inside out, and then it's easy to sell to them. Once you know that you're talking to one person, because I think also when you're doing a video, you get in your own head and you're like, oh my God, I've got to talk to all these people, and it's just really stressful. If you're just on your phone, you can just say, right, I'm talking to Deborah.
And Deborah likes me.
Yeah.
And selling to Deborah is helping Deborah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to talk to her, and that's it. And then it's not so hard, right? When you're just talking to your person that thinks you're great.
Okay. Oh, that's lovely. That's made me emotional. Deborah, you're amazing. You're much more than for us, Deborah. What has been the most rewarding part of helping specifically female-led brands?
I think it's the knock-on effect. It's like the domino effect. You know that female-led brands generally help other females, right?
Collaboration over competition, right? It's nice.
Yeah. And so eventually someone is going to get helped by you helping that person, helps that person. I think it's that. I think it's that, definitely. When you finally see everything coming together and everything working well, and actually the results of what's happened as well, like when you see the testimonials, like occasionally I'll get like a coach that said, oh yeah, we got this really cute testimonial, you've got to read it. And that's so lovely. That's really, really rewarding when you see, oh yeah, we actually helped someone here. You know,
so cute.
That's really cute, right? That's so
that
nice.
That got me in the feels. I love it. When you've made a difference, that's when it's that's when it matters. That's
when it kind of thinks, oh, you know, I actually feel like I've done a good job as well. No, that's brilliant. That's a good one.
So before you go, Vanessa, can you just tell us a bit about what services you provide? Because you did say, you know, get a social media person, speak to someone. Do you offer consultancy in terms of that, or you know, can we hire you as a social media manager?
I have moved fully into ads now. So cool. I just run ads, and I've got various ways you can work with me. You can get a free toolkit if you want to try before you buy. So there's a free toolkit on my website that's got everything in there that you need to get yourself cracking. You will get on my mailing list when you do that. So that's a little thing there. It's called a lead magnet.
And what is a lead magnet, please?
So it is something that you give your ideal client for free. Something that like literally is like, oh my God, I pay for this. This is actually really good, and you've given it to me for free, and I'd pay for this. This is awesome. It's always got to over deliver. And it's really, really awesome. My ads toolkit, it's really, really cool. It's got everything,
I can't wait to look at it.
In there.
Yeah,
from start to finish of what you need to run a successful ad campaign for you. So yeah, you've got that. Then you can either do that or you can join a workshop. I run workshops every once in a while. The one I've got coming up soon at some point, once I get myself organised and I'm stopped doing client work, is running ads to build your email list. That's probably the easiest thing you can do to get started. It's really pretty cheap to run and pretty easy to set up, and it's all inside Facebook, and you can get lots and lots of people that are interested in hearing from you on email.
Can I ask, are your workshops in person or online? Or both?
They are online. They're always on Zoom. Unless you live in Bristol, maybe I could do one. Bristol in the UK, there you go, right? That's pretty kind of, small. So yes, Zoom is the place, right? Yeah, so I'd probably do those on Zoom. Or you can just hand over the reins to me. I can just do it all for you.
Amazing.
Build a campaign, build the funnel for you, and get you making some money on your product or your service.
Amazing.
So, but yeah, you can start with the ads toolkit though. That's a nice way to get started that you can kind of read through while you're running your ads.
Fantastic. And where can our amazing audience find you online? So your website and your social media
on my
handles.
website. So it's the socialally.co.uk. You can find me on Insta. That's where I hang out, to be honest with you. I'm going to try TikTok, I promise, but I find it really noisy. Yeah. And that's the Social Ally as well. I find it really noisy, Sareta. You're going to have to persuade me that it's the place to be.
Oh, not me. No, I just do small things because I'm mainly there to watch. Yeah, I'm there because that's my little playground.
It, right?
Yeah,
I know. And
Instagram's
also, I don't want
to.
Yeah. And I don't want to tread on my 12-year-old's toes either, though I do go in every once in a while just to see what she's up to.
Yeah. Well, we have actually done a podcast episode on marketing on TikTok, so maybe that will be an interesting one for you.
Okay, yeah, I know exactly.
Back to you. Where can we find you? So online.
Online, Instagram, The Social Ally, and on my website, thesocialally.co.uk. You can come and find me there. Those two places.
Amazing, and I will be sure to share all of Vanessa's information
in
the write-up on Women Who Rebrand, on the write-up on WWR Digital Magazine, and you'll find even more information about entrepreneurship and social media marketing. I'll be sure to include that. And thank you, Vanessa, for joining us today.
It's been so fun.
I've learned so much.
Have you? Oh, I'm pleased.
Yes, and I'm going to be downloading that toolkit. That sounds very interesting.
Oh, I hope you enjoy it.
Yes. You're going to be seeing more
over delivers.
I love that. And thank you, Dee, for joining me.
Anytime.
As a guest co-host this episode.
I love being here with
podcast.
You.
Oh my God, True Crime Podcast. I might have to go and check that out. I absolutely caned Only Murderers in the Build. Right, okay, I'm getting in.
Right, so let's say that again then. So Dee, you've just launched your own brand new podcast, which is amazing. I listened to episode 1. Switchblade Sisters Social Club.
Yeah.
So True Crime podcast with my little sister, where we exploit our worst fears for your entertainment. You're welcome. So do come check us out. We got episodes.
I'd love to.
On Brittany Murphy, Levi Belfield, Natalie Wood, a whole bunch.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It sounds amazing. I absolutely caned Only Murderers in the Building. I completely caned that.
The one on show.
I haven't seen that
show.
It was on it. Yeah. It's like 3 of them. They have a true crime podcast. It's on Disney Plus.
What's it called?
Only Murderers in the Building. It's got, oh God, what's her name? Selena Gomez, Steve Martin, the old comedian guy, other guy, I can't remember his name. But it's great. It's absolutely, I loved it.
It's on my to-do list.
Yeah. It's always something, right?
It's
At least it's not work related.
I know, right? Exactly. Take time out. Yeah, definitely.
All right, then. Thank you so much, ladies. And I
Pleasure,
will
my love.
see you soon. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Women Who Rebrand. Be sure to subscribe and leave a rating to keep up with upcoming episodes. Join our online community on Instagram and TikTok at WWR Digital. And stay tuned for our next episode featuring another fantastic guest ready to discuss the most insightful topics. Thanks for listening.